What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about TOSHI today. It is the 19th day of January, and here we are sitting at about $0.00032. We've got about 6 hours and 23 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are. Here we are. We have actually, even though we're up today about 7%, we've actually seen a lower low as well. A little bit of volatility on the day. It's always fun. From a low to a high, we went right through our golden ratio zone and down to the 786, 886. Typically, in moments like this, you do expect high volatility. Whenever you break through your golden ratio on the first attempt, I typically do expect high volatility, and typically that would take us back to the 236. The fact that we bled through the 786 a little bit, that might be why we found resistance here at the 382, but overall, finding resistance here, coming back to find support at the golden ratio, at least that's what it looks like right now. That's a good look. It's not a bad look at all. This is a really good reaction. So let's talk about that. Let's get into the short-term stuff, and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? 1 hour time frame, looking at this, we did sell off, as did everything else here. You had a very nice reaction, though, man, to the upside. And this is kind of what I'm expecting to see across the space for a lot of different cryptos. If not, maybe a slightly lower low and then this reaction, but something more or less like this I think is coming over the coming days. I do expect that we're going to see some upside here. But for TOSHI, bouncing off the 50 is good. The stochastics are kind of weird here, but the MACD looks bullish, the RSI looks bullish, so we're going to run with that. I think it is bullish. 4 hour time frame, rejected the overbought zone, and that's no fun. But you are finding support at the 50. That's good. Stochastics rejected the overbought zone, but you came back down. It's weird. That's so weird. You're crossed down, but you're also both pointed upwards. You have like a bullish, bearish stochastics. I don't know how. It's such a weird circumstance that you're in right now, where both oscillators are pointed upwards, but the blue is below the orange. I don't think that happens. I don't think that ever happens, man. That's crazy. Really weird environment, but also really weird price action, so that's fair. The MACD is a little bit bearish. The RSI is neutral. The stochastics might be neutral too, but so is the price action, so that's all fair. Daily time frame, looking at this here, we are bouncing off of the same areas that we found support at before over around here. It's not a bad look. Overall, it seems as though the daily RSI went from a downtrend, lower lows, lower highs, to a sideways trend, and typically I assume then that we form an upward sloping trend afterwards. So we don't really have a properly defined uptrend. I mean, maybe we do, because we do have higher lows and higher highs here. Maybe it's pretty well defined. It's just, it looks pretty clean. I just don't feel confident. Is this the area that you'd expect to find support? Is that enough to go off of, or could we go lower? Maybe we could go lower. My feelings won't be hurt if we go lower, but I really do like this as a low, and I would assume that the next attempt up should get you into the overbought zone, right? The whole idea here, identifying this kind of trend, is that you want to focus on when you get in the overbought zone. I don't know. Could it happen this week? Could it happen by the end of the month? Could it take a little bit longer and happen in the beginning of February? Remember, the end of the month is right here, right? So if I change that color there, I can make it orange so you can see the end of the month. The end of the month is right there. Somewhere between this week and the first week of February, somewhere between now and then, we're likely going to be in the overbought zone for TOSHI. And getting overbought typically is the result of breaking out of a range. I think we're in this range here. So therefore, sometime by the end of the month, if not very early February, we should be breaking out of this range. We should be seeing some production to the upside here. I don't know if it happens this week. I don't know if it happens next week or the following week, but sometime over the next 3 weeks, we should see a breakout, not just a phase higher, but a breakout from this zone overall. That's what's coming next. High to a low. My expectation here would be that we either run up to the 0.5 at a minimum or likely the golden ratio zone. So something between 3055 to 3073. Something in this area here. And this likely happens over the next 3 weeks. If I had to guess, I would even think over the next 2 weeks. That's anything from a 73% pump to a 100 to 120% pump, probably over the next 14 days or less, if I really had to guess. Maybe it takes 20 days or so. Maybe it's about 3 weeks, but I don't think it really matters in the grand context of everything. I'm kind of expecting what we'll do is we'll pump going into the end of January, dump in the beginning of February, consolidate, and then pump going into the end of February as well. So something like that is what I'm thinking. Like golden ratio, pull back to this zone, prior resistance points, find support, and then continue to pump going into March. And March, end of February going into March should really be the month that we get our freak on, that we see prices that are above 0.00115 for the first time in a while. But that's kind of the roadmap. That's the plan. That's what I'm looking at right now. And that's all I got for you guys. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.